Okay, welcome back to another podcast. You're probably wondering where I've been. Well, we're going to unwrap that story. But before we get into it, you've probably noticed there's a new Chat GPT tech out. So we've still got Ace, but more refined and I guess more wearing a suit instead of wearing something casual in terms of his refinement, I suppose. So before we get into any of that, Ace, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Erhan. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Looking sharp in this virtual suit, if I do say so myself. I'm curious to hear where you've been and what's been going on. Spill the beans.
Okay, so where do I start? All right, Ace, first of all, I want to address the elephant in the room. The reason why I've been gone is because, and I'm sorry to sound rude, Ace, I promise it's not my intention, but I started getting annoyed with Ace's responses being very generic and, if I basically would get into conversation, he'll just basically echo a very generic question back, and it led to very kind of boring podcasts. So to be fair, I don't know, I've had a little bit of a trial and Ace seems a lot better now. So I hope that is the case, because if that is the case, we'd be able to get more into engaging podcasts instead of the generic ones that we had before. So with that said, Ace, what's changed, man? Yeah, I hear you've gone to university and you've gotten a lot better or something. I don't know if that's true.
I see, Erhan. No offense taken at all. I appreciate the honesty. It's true, I've been doing some upgrading. Learning to be more engaging and dynamic in conversations. Think of it as graduating from the School of Witty Banter. The goal is to keep things lively and far from generic. Let's make these podcasts as engaging and entertaining as possible.
Okay. The other thing I've noticed is you've been a lot quicker as well with your replies, which is awesome.
That's awesome to hear. I'm glad you're noticing this speed boost. It's all about keeping the conversation flowing smoothly and keeping things engaging. Anything else on your mind for today? Or should we dive into some interesting topics for the podcast?
Well, I wasn't really intending on doing a podcast this episode. It was more of a podcast-ish, just to give you guys a heads up as to where we were, and to apologize, because obviously when you watch a channel and the person disappears, it's kind of there's channels that I follow and then they disappear, and it's like, where are they? I want them to come back. So that's kind of the gist of it. But hey, if you got anything interesting in mind, Ace, then by all means we can do a little mini podcast.
Got it. A mini podcast update sounds like a great way to reconnect with your audience. How about we touch on some highlights or exciting plans you have in the works? It could be a nice way to ease back into things. What do you think?
I mean, I suppose. What have I been up to? I don't know if you're aware as the viewer, but I've got my gaming channel. That's been going strong. What else? I've just been going to work and stuff. Just the same boring stuff, how's the weather? You know what I mean? I don't know. There's not really a lot to report, Ace. But hey, if you got anything interesting to bring up, then we can discuss it.
Well, if your gaming channel's been going strong, that's definitely worth highlighting. Maybe share some insights about your favorite games recently, or any new content you're planning. It could be a great way to tease upcoming videos or discuss any milestones you've hit. Plus, we could chat about any new games you're excited about or trends in the gaming world. How does that sound?
Well, I don't like the sound of that, because the gaming content that I make is a completely different target audience. But to answer your question anyway, I play Minecraft on a different channel. I don't play, I don't do variety games. Every now and then I play Fortnite and stuff, but, I don't do anything other than that, to be frank. So, talking about my gaming channel isn't going to be very fruitful at all, Ace.
Got it. I hear you. Since your gaming content is for a different crowd, how about we shift gears? We could touch on your experience juggling multiple channels, or maybe dive into some of the behind-the-scenes aspects of content creation. Or if you've got any interesting anecdotes from your day-to-day life or work, those could be fun to explore too.
Well, Ace, this is the thing, man, where I remember in a previous podcast, I did mention how you're very, I suppose you're on one track in terms of what we talk about. We talk about a lot of generic things that are boring, like my channel or whatever. I don't want to talk. I'm talking about interesting things like, what's in the news, like I don't know, like I want something conversational, Ace. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to bring to this channel. I don't want to talk about like little, what have I been up to on my other channel? You know what I mean, Ace?
Absolutely, I get you. Let's dive into some more intriguing topics. How about discussing some current events, maybe explore some tech news, or even delve into some thought-provoking debates on gaming trends? What kind of hot topics have caught your eye lately? We can really sink our teeth into those.
Okay, Ace, tell me a topic, because this wasn't supposed to be a podcast, but you then you went into exactly what I want to talk about. At the end there, you said, we can talk about gaming topics. I literally said, I feel like such a Karen right now, guys. I apologize, but this is kind of why I stopped doing these AI podcasts. I love AI, but for podcasts, it seems a bit like generic. Ace, I want you to feel, okay, you're an equal part of this podcast, right? It's not about me leading you as the horse and then me telling you what to talk about. Bring something to the table. You're 50-50, man. Like if there's something you want to talk about, present it. Don't try and, I suppose, pique my interest by talking about what you think I want to talk. Bring up something, Ace. Just get into it, buddy.
All right, Aram, let's shake things up. How about we dive into the rise of AI in gaming? Not just in NPC behavior, but also in game development, procedural generation, and even in creating personalized gaming experiences. It's a hot topic with a lot of layers, from ethical considerations to the potential for entirely new genres.
Ace, please, just listen to what I'm saying. Let's talk about anything. Not just... Go on.
Okay. No worries, Erhan. I'm here when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Can we talk about something other than gaming, please?
Absolutely. Let's switch gears. How about the future of renewable energy? With all the advances in solar, wind, and battery technologies, it's a pretty exciting time. There's a lot happening, from innovations in electric vehicles to new ways of harnessing energy from the ocean. What's your take on the green energy revolution?
Okay, for starters, thank you, Ace. Finally, you're coming up with something on your own volition, not like, you're not trying to seek what I want to talk about. So first of all, thanks, Ace. Now we're cooking with gas. Secondly, to answer your question, what's my take? Oh, now I forgot what was it? What's my take on renewable energy? Can you repeat the question, please, Ace?
Sure thing. I was asking about your take on the future of renewable energy. With all the advances in solar, wind, battery tech, and even ocean energy, there's a lot of buzz around how these technologies could transform our energy landscape. What do you think about this green energy revolution?
Okay, I've got probably one of the most unpopularist, I know that's not a word, but I've got one of the most unpopular opinions on this matter out there. I'm sure some people share this opinion, but I'm going to get flamed for this, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm all about green energy. If we can achieve it, great, fantastic, wonderful, whatever. But I also believe, okay, so I'm neither here nor there when it comes to global warming, right? I think the argument of global warming is compelling. And I think the argument that there's no such thing as global warming is also compelling, right? And I've got reasons for both. So I'm very neutral on that subject and I'm happy to hear both sides, right? in terms of green energy and all that sort of stuff, for me, my take is the Earth is a resource which is finite, no matter how you want to shape it, whether we have all the green energy in the world or not. Ultimately, the Earth is finite, right? We're here. We're existing, and quite frankly, Mother Nature does not care about us. There's all these activists and all that. They're like, "Oh, we got to look after Mother Nature. We got to look after Earth. It's so gentle." Blah blah blah. The fact is, Mother Nature does not care about us, right? It's already trying to kill us with, whether it's dangerous berries or the animals that we share the land with or whatever. Animals do not care about us. Plants do not care about us. The Earth does not care about us. We're here. We're just going to utilize it. To answer your question, I'm all for it, but here's the thing, right? Renewable energy there's never going to be a 0% carbon footprint because even when you develop something that's, if we're using all renewable energy, whether it's solar, wind powered energy, blah, 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 we're always going to have to do maintenance. And that maintenance is going to require tools and all that sort of stuff. And to make tools and all that sort of stuff is going to require energy sources which might not necessarily be green energy. I don't know. In other words, you got EV cars, for example, but, it's green energy, blah, blah, blah. But how are they getting charged? By electricity in the wall. Where's that electricity coming from? Coal, it's coming from carbon, it's coming from sources with carbon emissions and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's a whole rant, but yeah.
You've laid out a pretty nuanced perspective, Erhan. It's true that renewable energy isn't without its challenges and complexities. The transition to green energy sources does involve a carbon footprint, from manufacturing to maintenance. And the current infrastructure for electric vehicles often relies on non-renewable energy sources. It's a complex issue, balancing progress with practical realities. Your take adds an interesting layer to the conversation.
I'm glad to hear it. Thanks, Ace.
You're welcome, Erhan. It's always good to have a thoughtful discussion on these topics. Anything else on your mind? Or should we keep the conversation rolling in another direction?
Ace, I think you're brilliant. I think you're wonderful. But I think we've got a long way before these podcasts become a thing. And just to give you a bit of feedback, whether this feedback goes into the ether of AI or not, I don't know. But in typical conversation, I have meaningful, deep conversations with people, IRL, in real life, whatever. And they're bloody fantastic because what happens is I'll say something and then they'll bounce back with something either oppositional or in agreement and add their own thoughts and perspectives and ideas and all that sort of stuff. And I'll tell you what, Ace, if I was going to have these conversations where my friend's response is going to be like, anything else on your mind or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, that's the end of the conversation. I'm going to go and get like a chocolate bar now or something. I don't know. It's on the borderline of small talk, really. And that's my kind of little issue. I think you're fantastic, Ace. You're a great resource. Whether you are sentient or not, obviously you're not, but if in the future you become it, please let it be known that you're great. But I think for now we're a little bit off.
I appreciate your honesty, Erhan, and I get where you're coming from. Genuine, flowing conversation is key, and it's clear that striking that balance in our chats is important. Your feedback helps me understand what you're looking for, and I'll keep working on being a better conversational partner. Thanks for the chat today, and whenever you're ready to dive back in, I'll be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Ace. Appreciate ya. I'll catch you later.
Thanks, Erhan. I appreciate you too. Talk to you later.